Cool. All right, guys. So the presentation is called How to Predictably Grow Your Martial Arts School Using Proven Systems. We're going to go over a few things that are important: leads, sales, retention, operations, and metrics. So, my goal for you guys by the end of this workshop is to know exactly what you need to do specifically in order to grow your school, right? So, in order to do that, we need to talk about the student journey. How do we turn strangers that don't know about us into students, right? And so, we want to break this down into 3 stages of advertising. In the beginning, if a lot of this doesn't make sense, I promise you at the end, when we go through like the details on exactly how to do this, all of this is going to make sense. So there's a few terms that you guys need to understand, okay? And it's called top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. And so when we look at this from like a graphic standpoint, at the top of the funnel, these are all of the people in your area who are unaware of jujitsu, of MMA, what that even is, right? Maybe they've heard of martial arts in the past, but they don't know what jujitsu, MMA, whatever you have to offer, they don't know what that is. And so our goal is to make them aware and capture attention, right? This is our biggest piece of the pie, is everybody who is completely unaware of us. Then we have the middle of funnel, right? So these people are aware of jujitsu and MMA, but maybe they don't have the desire yet to come in and train. And so our goal with the middle of funnel is to build desire and to make them aware of you and your particular school and to make them an offer to come in and try a class. Now, the bottom of the funnel, those are people who are aware of you. They know your school name, they know your offer, and your goal there is to get them on the mats and signed up. So when we think of this, when we think of top of the funnel, right, these are all of the people who are unaware. And so this is why I advocate very heavily on Facebook and Instagram advertising, right? So Google advertising is great, but we're only getting the bottom of funnel people from Google because these people are aware, they're actively searching, and they're ready to go. And that's a very small percentage of people in your area. And so we want to go from the top of the funnel and we want to build the desire all the way down until they become a student and get signed up. And then our goal is to obviously get them to train for as long as possible. Now, I just want to say in the beginning of this presentation, this is going to be a lot of theory and theoretical stuff, but I am going to get into details on exactly what you need to do, exactly how you're going to measure everything from the person becoming a lead to a student to how long they stay. And you're going to know exactly what to do. And I'm going to give you guys access to the tools and software to do this. So, leads, that's the very first part of this journey, right? Without predictable leads, it's impossible to scale your growth. And this is why relying on referrals is not enough, right? Most people that don't understand marketing, they rely on referrals. And in the beginning, word of mouth will get you to a certain point, but it's not predictable and it's not scalable. With that said, we need qualified leads, right? A mistake school owners make, and it's not the school owner's fault, but most of them, they just want to chase the cheapest cost per lead. And the problem is because that's all you see when you're on Facebook and Instagram or you're talking to other agency owners. Oh, we can get you cheaper cost per lead. We can get you a cheaper lead. But leads don't matter. If I could get you, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Leads matter, but cheapest cost per leads don't matter. If I could get you 1,000 leads for $1 each, but you get 0 signups out of that, you give me $1,000 and you get no signups, then it does not matter how cheap the leads are. So the real metric, these are some terms that you need to know, and I'm going to show you exactly how you're going to measure this, is CAC plus CLV. So CAC is what does it cost you to acquire a customer? How much do you have to pay to get a new student? And if I would be willing to guess, if you guys up, so real quick, I'm getting some, I can't hear. I just wanted to jump in on the chat. Can everybody hear me? Yes or no? Gabriel says he can't hear me. Troy, yes, yes. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. All right. So real quick in the chat, and I want you guys to be very honest. Can anybody in here tell me exactly what it costs you to acquire a customer? Exactly what it costs for the last, say, 90 days. How much did it cost you to get one member? If you don't know the answer, just be honest and say no. But I want to know, do you guys know exactly to the T what it cost you to get a new member in your door? I honestly don't know. That's fine. Jen, most 99.999% of people don't know. Troy, no, if I'm being honest. Guys, anybody in here watch the show Shark Tank? Does anybody watch Shark Tank? Okay. The number one thing that they ask is, what does it cost you to acquire a customer before they ever invest in a business? They want to know what it costs you to acquire a customer. And if you don't know those answers, they will not invest in your business. You have to know what it costs you to acquire a customer. The next thing is customer lifetime value. Okay. Customer lifetime value is very important. So to make math very simple, and everybody in here should be charging way more than this. I'm just trying to make math simple for you. Let's say you charge $100 per month. Okay. And let's say it costs you $100 to acquire a customer. If that person stays on average for 3 months, your customer lifetime value is 300. So with a $100 cost, you're still profitable. Okay. But you have other costs, right? You have overhead, you have rent, you have staff, you have different things. So that's not a very valuable customer if it's only $300. So our goal is to lower the CAC, lower the cost to acquire a customer, and we want to increase the CLV, the customer lifetime value. On average, how much does somebody spend with us over the lifetime of their journey? And we can do that in three ways. Okay. The first is simply raise your prices. Okay. So if you're charging $100 a month, we raise it to 200, and all of a sudden, now you go from a $300 customer lifetime value to a $600 lifetime value if they only stay 3 months. The next thing we can do to increase customer lifetime value is we can increase the amount of time that they stay a student with us. So if we can go from 3 months to 10 months, and we raise our prices to 200, now all of a sudden that person is worth $2,000. So you invest 100 to acquire them, and now they're worth 2,000. Again, I understand all of this right now is theory. I'm going to show you at the end, and I'm going to give you the tools on exactly how to do this. The next is return on ad spend. Okay. And so here's why advertising is very important. Think about the most known brands in the world. Let's use Apple, for example. If you ask anybody on the street who Apple is, 99 out of 100 will know exactly who Apple is, but they still invest billions a year in advertising. Why? Because they want to stay in front of market. And also, this is very relevant to jujitsu, MMA, martial arts schools, is when I talk to a lot of school owners, they have this vision in mind that there's this certain pie of people in their area, and that's who they can go after. And once that pie is taken up, there's no more people to go after. But that's not true. If you think about it, especially if you have a kids program, and let's say you start your kids at age 5 years old, every day you have a new 5-year-old turning 5, and you have new people entering the market. You have new people who, maybe if we're looking at an older demographic, maybe they have gotten a new job and they've wanted to train before, but they couldn't afford it, but now all of a sudden they can. Or you have people that, maybe they went through a divorce and now they're looking for an outlet. The market is always changing and it's always shifting. So the next thing we need to look at is your ROAS, your return on ad spend. And we're going to get deeper into this into the presentation, but we're going to look at 30-day ROAS, immediately what you bring back, and then we're going to look at lifetime ROAS. What is the lifetime return on your ad spend, right? And so when I say return on ad spend, let's say we spend $1,000 in ads this month. If we can gain $1,000 back in the same month, then we've went out of pocket zero, and every other month is pure profit. So if we can say, okay, I'm spending 1,000 and I'm making 1,000 back, let's increase that by 20%. Now I spend 1,200. If the metrics remain the same and I get that 1,200 back immediately, then essentially I have no cap on marketing. Of course, there's always going to be diminishing returns, right? We can't scale to infinity. But if you're not measuring these numbers and tracking these numbers, you're just guessing. You have a gut feeling of like, oh, I feel like we're up a little bit. I feel like people are coming in, but you don't know. It's simply guessing. Okay. And so we're going to get deeper into this as we go. So how do we get leads? And so we've already talked about top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. So you guys should understand those terms. So at our biggest pie, top of funnel and middle of funnel, we have meta ads. We have Facebook and Instagram. Those are the most popular platforms that we can go out and get in front of people. Now, there's other things that we could do. You could do direct mail, you can do postcards, you can do all of that stuff. But at a broad scale, if you want to be able to track this and measure this, meta ads are going to be key. Now, we have middle of funnel and bottom of funnel. So now people who are aware of us and they're interested in us, we still have meta ads with retargeting, but now we get into email, SMS, we get into Google, to SEO, all of these things, your reviews, all of these things come into play when we're talking about advertising to the middle and bottom of funnel. And so we want to look at marketing as an ecosystem. It's not just, oh, I'm marketing because I'm running ads, right? Ads, they drive awareness and they do give you conversions, but there's other things that come into play. And one of my black belts, actually, he's on this presentation right now. We've talked about this a ton, and he's outdone, like, he's one of the newest schools in the area, I think less than 2 years old, and he has more reviews than almost anybody in the entire area, right? Because we talked about this in the importance of it. Because your reviews are going to support the decision-making process of the people who see your ads. Also, your website. Your website is super important. It has to be designed for conversion. So if we think about human behavior and how humans work, they see an ad. Now, maybe the low-hanging fruit, they convert on the ad, but you're going to get a lot of people who are going to see the ad. You're going to spark their interest, and then they're going to go to Google. And when they go to Google, they're not only seeing you, they're seeing all of your competitors. And so it's so important that we stand out from our competitors by having more reviews, more positive reviews than our competitors. And then when they do go to our website, we want to make sure that the website is actually designed to convert those visitors into leads. So again, talking about the marketing ecosystem. Now, once they become a lead, it's not over. You still have to follow up. You have to nurture them and convert them. And then next is organic social, right? Posting organically on your social media profiles like Instagram, Facebook, all of that stuff. That becomes very important. Not that it will get you leads locally, right? Because if you're posting about jujitsu, the algorithm is going to show it to everybody in the world who's interested in jujitsu. But when you post organically, it's going to support the people who see your ad, and then they go to your social media profiles and they look to see, hey, is this person active? And so this wasn't part of the plan presentation, but it's something I want to talk about here for just for a second, is when you're posting on Instagram or Facebook. I'm using Instagram because it's the most popular platform right now. If you look at analytics, you want to think about it from the end user, right? Somebody who's doing research on you. Is what you're posting actually interesting to them, right? So most of us, we post like pictures of our class, like a good class, whatever. But is that actually interesting to them? What you should be doing, and there's nothing wrong with posting that stuff, but you should also be posting stuff that would be interesting to that end user, such as some basic techniques. How do you escape a headlock? What if your child gets pinned to the ground in the mount? How would they escape this, right? So when people are doing their research, you're actually providing more value. You want to have video testimonials pinned to the top of your profile. You want to have a what to expect video pinned to the top of the profile. So when somebody sees your ad and they're curious, but they're like, I'm not sure what to expect when I go into the school. If we have a video pinned to the top of the profile, we're going to be able to convert more of those people who showed an initial interest into actually becoming leads and then eventually students. So that brings us to the next part, which is the sales process. So once you have a lead, then you transition into sales mode. And here's a few things. Speed to lead is important. So if you're using our systems, then you already know that they're getting a text like immediately. So as soon as they fill out the form, they're immediately getting a text. But you also want to call them within 5 minutes. If you can get the person on the phone within 5 minutes, your chances of converting go up by like over 70%. Right? You're not going to get everybody on the phone. As a matter of fact, a good majority are not going to answer if they don't recognize the phone number. But for the ones who do, you're going to have a much higher chance of converting those. So when you guys are getting leads, If you work with us, then you already have the system where it texts you automatically. The second you get a lead, you get a text on your phone and and then you should immediately be calling those people. And again, our system follows up with them automatically. If you don't work with us or use our systems, you should set up a system that does that. Next is anybody who does not answer the phone, you want to send them a personalized video message. So let's say the guy's name's John. Hey, John, just got your information. You filled out the form to try out a free class. Would love to get you in. We have an opening tonight at 6 p.m. or we have one tonight or tomorrow at 7 p.m. Let me know which one of those days works better for you. And if you have any questions about training with us, send that personalized video message. They see your face. You're building rapport. You're going to get a much higher response rate off of that based off of just a simple text alone. So that's something to think about and consider. And if you're not the one that follows up with leads, you should have your staff be doing this, or ideally, whoever is the person that's going to greet them at the front door when they walk in, that's the person who should be sending the video message because they're going to see a familiar face the second that they walk in. And that's immediately going to increase the trust level of the person who comes in. So there should be a minimum of 5 touch points prior to them coming in to the appointment. So we want to send them a what to expect video, which inside of the school community, I've given you guys examples from some clients who have created the what to expect video. You want to send them an email with benefits. We want to make sure that they're getting video testimonials inside of those emails and text messages. We want to have appointment confirmation reminders, right? And so the way we have it set up in our system is they get an initial confirmation when they book their class. They get a reminder 24 hours before, and then they get another reminder 2 hours before. And each one of those reminders has the address to your school so that they don't forget what that is. And again, sending a personalized video message prior to them coming in is going to increase your conversions. Now, during the appointment, when they walk in the door, you don't want somebody walking in and just staring like a deer in the headlights. They want to immediately, you want to greet them by name within 30 seconds. You should already know who's coming in for that day. You should be looking at your calendar every morning. You say, okay, hey, these are the people that we have scheduled. As soon as they walk in, within 30 seconds, you should be greeting them by name. Next, you want to discuss their goals. Why are they there? Why did they decide to show up that day? And this is very important. And we're going to talk about this when we talk about overcoming objections. Initially, so what I like to do is somebody comes in like, hey, John, you greet them with the names, talk about why they came in, like what's their interest, why did they want to train? And be like, okay, great. So if you end up liking this, like what's your schedule like? Like, how's your work schedule? Do you think you can make it 2 to 3 days a week? And by doing that, now you're going to overcome the objection at the end when somebody says, oh, I need to look at my schedule. Well, we've already discussed this before we even talked about sales or them coming in. We find out their schedule immediately. Next is you want to have a systemized intro lesson. You don't want to just throw somebody who is day one into your regular class. With that said, they can join the regular class, but you should have a series of moves that are the same that all new beginners go through, right? So, for example, and this is something that I've talked to a lot of you guys on calls before about, but let's say we're working a beginner class and we're working butterfly guard sweeps. Okay. A brand new person who's coming in, although they could get that move, there's going to be a complete disconnect. They're going to be like, why am I sitting here with my feet between this person's legs? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. They can't envision themselves playing butterfly guard because they have no idea what jujitsu is, but they can envision themselves being put in a headlock. They can envision themselves being pinned to the ground in the mount position. And they've probably seen submissions like on the UFC. So I like to show a basic headlock escape from standing, a basic mount escape, and maybe show them a basic submission, like a head and arm choke, an arm bar from the mount, whatever it is. But you want to keep it simple and you want to keep it congruent to the person, like being able to see themselves in that situation. So you can bring them into the normal class. You could teach the butterfly guard sweeps, and then you go up to the person and you say, hey, by the way, I'm going to pair you up with these two people, and you're going to work on these moves. And you just show them the moves. You don't have to go into detail. It can be very simple. You don't want to overwhelm them anyways with details. You just show them something really simple, and then you let them drill that. And now they feel part of the class. They feel like they're in with a group. They feel comfortable, and you're showing them something that they can relate to. Okay. And then the final thing is the sales presentation, right? You have to ask for the sale. You don't just let them walk out the door. So you present your membership options. You ask which one they would like to do. and then you be quiet, right? That's like a number one rule in sales. Once you present the offer, you just be quiet and you let them talk. Even if it's an awkward 2-minute silence, you just wait. Okay. Now we're going to have some obvious rebuttals, some objections. So if they offer a discount, you can say, sure, we do a 6 or a 12-month discount on our paid in fulls. Do not discount your monthly prices. Okay. Whatever your monthly prices are, that's what they are. You don't want to discount them. All right. You're not going to go into Verizon or T-Mobile and ask for a discount on their payment plans or their phones, right? So don't discount your monthly services. You can give them a discount on a 6 or a 12-month paid in full. Now, if they tell you, I need to think about it, acknowledge them. Hey, totally understand. I'm just curious. If you do go think this over, what would make it an absolute yes that you would want to sign up with us? And now you're going to start to pull out some of the real objections that you can cover later on in the presentation. So if one of those is, oh, I just need to look at my finances. This comes up a lot. And I've used this to get so many people signed up on the same day. So acknowledge them. Hey, totally understand. Now, let me know, is this something that you definitely want to do, but you just need to wait until you get paid or you need to wait until payday? 90% of the time, that's it. If they wanna join, that's going to be the rebuttal. And they'll say, "Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't get paid until next Friday. I do like it. I just need to wait till I get paid." No problem. Why don't we get you signed up today, and we won't charge your first payment until next Friday? You can come in, you can start joining the classes, and your first payment won't be due until X date. You're going to convert so many more people by doing that simply by asking. But most people are afraid to ask because finances can be a touchy subject, right? So they just don't ask. Okay, cool, no problem. Just let us know. And that's the end of it. And you might not hear back from them. All right. Um, if yes, offer to get them to sign up today. Okay. And the first payment won't be due until X date, which we just talked about. Now, if the next objection is they're afraid of commitment. They're like, like I want to do this, but a lot of schools they have like 6-month commitments or 12-month commitments. You want to have a downsell trial offer for people who are on the fence. So this should not be offered right away. But if they're just on the fence, you want to have some sort of no-brainer, like this is not meant to make you a lot of money. This is meant to allow the person to try it for a little bit longer and then to offset your advertising cost, right? So if it costs you $30 to get a lead, but you bring in $37 from the person to do a 2-week trial, all of a sudden you make a small profit and your lead cost is liquid. It's nothing, right? So we want to have some sort of downsell offer for those people who are just on the fence. And chances are, if they truly are interested, they take you up on this. They train for the 2 weeks and like, okay, yeah, I like it. I feel a little more comfortable now. Now you have an easy chance to get them committed into selling them into your actual program. If they still don't sign up or they need to talk to their spouse, etc., immediately book a follow-up appointment on the spot. Don't just say, "Okay, hey, no problem. Let me know what your wife or husband says." Say, "Okay, totally." So acknowledge any objections you get. Acknowledge that, right? Say, "Hey, no problem. Totally understand. I would need to talk to my wife about something like this as well. Why don't we go ahead and book you guys in for Friday at 6 p.m. so that way you guys can come in, little Johnny can try it at class, or you can try it again just to make sure this is something you like. And then by that time, you'll have a chance to talk to your wife, husband, etc. So don't just let them walk out the door. Immediately book the follow-up appointment that same day if they don't join. Now, regardless of whether they do or do not sign up on the day of their intro, send them a personalized thank you video message, right? So again, just using the name John. Hey, John, thanks for coming in. It was really great having you in class today. If they signed up, look forward to having you a member. Look out for an email from us. We're going to send you some more information about our classes, class schedule, etc. If they don't sign up, hey, John, it was awesome having you in class today. And let's say they don't rebook, right? Or if they do rebook or don't rebook, either way, you can edit the message on how you say it. But you can say, hey, John, it was awesome having you in class today. Really look forward to having you back at Friday at 6 p.m. In the meantime, if there's any other questions that you have after talking to your wife, just let me know, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Or if they don't rebook or you forget to rebook them, then, "Hey, John, it was awesome having you in class today. I know you said you needed to go home and think it over. We'd love to offer you to come back in this Friday at 6 p.m. It's actually a little bit of a smaller class since it's a Friday. We can get you in, give you a little more personalized attention, answer any other questions that you have, and then you can make a decision then." But just sending that personalized video message out is, like, again, I said before, is going to increase your retention or increase your conversions. Now we need to talk about retention. So once a person joins your school, the marketing and the sales don't stop. Retention is going to be your key to growing a high revenue martial arts school. So again, talking about math to make math simple, let's say we have 100 students and we have a 10% churn rate, and 10% is way too high. But let's say we have a 10% churn rate. That means in January, if we have 100 students, in February, if we don't sign anybody else up, then we're going to have 90 students. So we need to sign 10 more up just to break even. So that's doable, right? We can sign 10 people a month up. But now when you get to 200 students or 300 students or 400 students, if you're at a 400 student mark with a 10% churn rate, that means you're losing 40 students per month. And it's a lot harder to sign up 40 or more every single month in order to continue to grow. And that's why you sort of hit this stagnation point, right? Where it's like, man, I can't get above this number. We're getting people in, but we're losing people, right? So we need to get more people in the door that we're losing, and we need to plug that hole at the bottom. And so retention becomes very important. So, what can we do for retention? We need to have a 90-day onboarding sequence of automated emails and SMS texts that go out to this person to just keep them engaged, keep them excited, keep them educated about jujitsu, about MMA, whatever it is that you guys teach, because that it like jujitsu is a hard sport. It's a hard thing to learn and it takes time. And so if the person comes in, they sign up, they're excited, but a month or two down the road, they start feeling frustrated because they're getting beat up on the mats every day and they don't know that that's normal. They might just feel like, oh, hey, I suck. When they don't suck, it just takes a lot of time. It's our job to continue to nurture those people, educate them, let them know that it's completely normal, but also show that you care, right? And so we want to have manual reach outs as well. Get on the phone, call them, or send them a text every 10 to 14 days during their first 3 months. Weekly newsletters. These are non negotiable. If you guys have been a client of mine, you've been hearing me harp on this all of the time. You need to be sending out weekly newsletters to your students and your leads, right? Because it's going to help convert some of those leads, but you want to provide value and keep students up to date every single week on what's going on. If you had a student that competed or they got a belt promotion or whatever it is, call them out in that newsletter, make them feel special, but also let everybody else know what's going on. Send some video techniques, get people excited and engaged and keep them engaged, tease them what's coming up the following week, what you guys covered the previous week, but stay in front of them when they're not on the mats, right? So for example, if your average student trains 3 days a week, that means there's 4 days a week that their attention is being pulled elsewhere. And so you want to make sure that you're staying in front of them. Online communities for your students. So you want to build a community off the mats as well as on the mats, right? Just like our school community. We want to have communities that are not where they're congregating not just on the mats, but also off the mats as well. So they're building friends, you're building community. So having an online community, super important for retention. And you can use the same announcements that you do in your newsletters in your online community as well. Quarterly events, barbecues, parents' night outs, bowling, Spartan races, award banquets, anything that you can think of that you feel like your students would enjoy off of the mats, you should be building that bond and that family-like environment with your students outside of just the school. And again, one of my black belts at Prodigy Jiu-Jitsu, he does a great job at this. We have barbecues at least every quarter. We have picnics. We have different stuff that we're doing outside of the school. And so those things are very important with retention, right? Because people develop like deeper friendships outside of the mats when they're not just training. They get more personalized time to talk. So those are things when you sit down with your staff to plan out, you want to have those pre-planned out for the entire year. So let me jump in here because we still got more to go. And we're going to get really, really deep into exactly how to track all of these numbers that I talked about. So again, we're still on the theoretical part. It's going to get a lot better, I promise. I just want to check in on the chat and make sure there's no questions. We do this more on social media, not as much sent out personally to them. Yeah, Jen, and that's a good point, right? Because social media, you don't you don't really control who that stuff gets sent to, right? But when we're sending out emails and SMS text messages, we can control exactly who sees that message. If we have an online community, we can control exactly who sees that message. We can tag them. We can make sure that they're actually seeing it. So that's why those things are super important. So now let's talk about operations. Okay. So this is going to look a little bit different for every school owner because some school owners, they're solo school owners and they're doing every job in the business. Other school owners who have grown a little bit, they have staff, right? But either way, you want to have weekly staff meetings or you want to have a weekly sit down with yourself and you want to set some goals. If you don't set goals, you're just showing up every day hoping that your business is going to grow. So we want to set weekly goals. What gets managed gets done. Organizing and discussing your CRM and your sales pipeline with your staff. If you use ours, the Conversion Bee software, inside of your pipeline, your opportunities tab, that should be updated every single day. And for a couple reasons. One, for you guys to keep your sales pipeline organized, but two, for us, because we send that data back to Facebook, right? So if somebody becomes a lead, that's one metric that we track. When they book an appointment with you, that's another metric we track, and we send that data back to Facebook through Facebook's conversions API. And then when they sign up and become a new member, we send that data back to Facebook too. So now Facebook and their algorithm has data that says, hey, this person is a much more valuable person than these leads who haven't booked or become new students. Let's find more people like this at the higher end of the value spectrum so that you can have a faster growing business. But if you're not organizing your CRM, you don't really know. And Meta, Facebook, your ads, they're running blind because they're not being tracked properly. So all of that stuff is super important. Operations, again, organizing your CRM daily and tracking your stats daily. Um, and again, and I'll just show a little preview. Let me make sure that I'm in the dummy account. Okay. Because I don't want to show everybody's stuff. But so we have a dummy account, right? So when somebody becomes a new lead, they get dropped right in here. If they don't schedule, we move them over to first contact, not scheduled, second contact, third contact. If they do get scheduled, we bring them over here. If they don't show, then we bring them over here and we have some automations that go out that says, hey, looks like you missed your appointment. Would love to get you rebooked. And then we send that link out to them. And all of this stuff can be automated. If they showed, but they didn't sign up, okay, so we've already talked about getting them rebooked. If they showed, didn't sign up, didn't rebook, now we bring them over here to intro showed, but they didn't join. And now we know we need to follow up with these people with a personalized video message, maybe present them with your downsell offer, your 2-week trial that's 37, 47, 57, whatever you want to charge. But now we have everything organized. If they still didn't sign up, we bring them into a long-term nurture sequence. And if they do sign up, we bring them to new member. And if we get cancellations, we bring them over here. But now we have everything organized in a pipeline and we have automation set in place based on everybody who's come through our pipeline. And we need to keep that stuff organized. So if you're not keeping this organized on a daily basis, please start doing that. That's super important. And then we want to track our stats daily, okay? Our metrics. So what metrics do we want to be looking at? Cost per lead, that's one of them. Most importantly, your cost to acquire customer, lifetime value of your customer, your 30-day ROAS, how much did you immediately make back from your ad spend, and your lifetime ROAS. So now let's get into the live demo. So if you guys did not see this in the school group, I created a new software. And if you're a client of ours, please, please, please use this. Okay. So what you'll do is you're going to go in here and you're going to have a daily log. Okay. And inside the daily log, I put some just dummy data in here starting September 1st, right? Spent 40 bucks. You'll see here we have leads, we have how many people booked, how many new students we got, how much cash did we collect, and how many cancellations did we get. Now, when you start using this software, you want to take the data with a grain of salt for the first 30 days. It's going to get much more accurate. You're going to have a real visual into your business after about 6 months. But so for example, if we look at this, we spent 40 a day for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we spent $440, okay, in ads. Cash collected, we got one new student this day for 150, none that day. One signed up here, 150, none that day, none that day. 150 here, none that day, 150 here, none that day, none that day, 150 here. So we got one, two, three, four. We spent 440, but we made $750 back. So now if we go to our dashboard, we can look at this. Total ad spend, we spent 440. We made what was it? 750 back. So if we look at here, this software is going to give us our past 30-day ROAS, the return on ad spend that we talked about. It's 1.7x. That means for every $100 that we're spending, we're making $170 back immediately. Now, that doesn't count all of the other recurring revenue that's coming after this. So if we look at this, we're not coming out of pocket anything. We're actually profiting on the very first month of running our ads, but we need to know these numbers. Now, this lifetime ROAS, again, take this number with a grain of salt until you have 6 months of data in here. Okay. So, lifetime ROAS, if all metrics remain the same for what I entered with the dummy data, then we should have a 36x return on ad spend. That means for every $1,000 that we spend, we're going to make $36,000 back. Again, this is going to get more accurate the more that you track this. Now, what the software does is it tells you based on month one ROAS, based on the immediate cash that you're collecting from new students only. This has nothing to do with all of the cash that's coming in from your previous students. Based on new signups only, the immediate first month they paid, if it's above one, then the software is going to suggest to increase your ad spend by 20%. So instead of spending 40 a day, now we're going to bump this up to 48 a day. Now, anytime we increase ad spend, we need to give it time and we need to continue to look at these metrics so we know if we're remaining profitable or not. So we also call this our payback period, right? So when I spend a certain amount of money, okay, how long does it take to get that money back? So, for example, let's say our lifetime value of a student is $1,000 and it cost us $200 to get that student. Okay. But we only get $100 a month from this person. Okay. But they stay 20 months. So they're worth 2,000. Our payback period, we don't break even until month 2. So this is still a profitable trade. You can't even go to the stock market and make these returns. But if your ROAS is below 1, if it takes you 2 months to recoup that money, that means you have to have extra cash in reserve in order to scale this. But if the ROAS is 1 or above, you don't need any cash to scale because you're getting that cash from your new students and your new customers immediately before that credit card payment is due. So I want to jump back in real quick to the staff. Oh, man, I can't see the live demo. So I wasn't even sharing the screen. All right, let me stop sharing this and try to share it again. Guys, can you see this now? Got it. All right, let me go back and re-show this. I apologize. I was talking the entire time and didn't see the chat. Okay, so if we go back to our daily logs, right? So each day, this is what you guys should be logging. How much you spent, how many leads you got that day, how many people booked, how many new students, and how much new cash did you collect that day from new students. So again, I have the dummy data in here from September 1st through September 11th. So only 11 days of data. I just put in here to show an example. So spent 40 a day. Leads we got here, booked we got here, new students we got here. So here we spent $440 over these 11 days, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students, and we brought in 750, right? Or yeah, we brought in 750. So we spent 440, we brought in 750. So now the software will show you you got a 1.7x ROAS for those first 30 days, right? So lifetime ROAS, again, this is what I was talking about earlier. Take this with a grain of salt until you have 6 months worth of data in here. But based on this, if this is above 1, then it's going to recommend to increase your ad spend by 20%, right? And so you may ask, well, hey, if it's above 1, why don't we just, triple the ad spend? Because anytime we make big changes to our advertising budget, You cannot expect the metrics to remain the same. And so we need to slowly scale this until eventually we're spending a lot, but making a lot more back. And this is why people get stuck, right? We hit this point of diminishing returns. Whereas if, like, let's say your ad budget's $25 a day and you never increase that, you're going to get to a point where you're going to level off. You're going to get the same amount of people coming in, and you're going to have your churn rate. And if it's like, let's say you get your churn rate to a really good number, like under 5%, that's what I always preach, is try to get your churn rate to under 5%. You're going to get this point of diminishing returns. And the only way to scale it and grow it is to invest more in advertising at the top of the funnel and bring people down into your school, bring them all the way down to the funnel to get them to actually sign up. But the only way that you can do this intelligently in the correct way is to have these numbers. Otherwise, you're just guessing. And so that's why I built this tool, because there was nothing out there like this, and there's nobody else is talking about this. If you go look at what any other agency is talking about, they're just talking about, hey, we'll get you X amount of leads, we'll get you cheaper leads. But that doesn't matter if you're not making money. The only thing that matters is your business profitable or not? And how can we make it more profitable? Well, we've got to look at customer acquisition cost, and we have to look at churn, and we have to look at lifetime value of our customer. And all of that stuff comes into play. Churn determines the lifetime value of your customer. So I just want to jump in here to the chat to make sure that, does everything make sense? Like, what I'm saying, is anything confusing? And please, like, don't be afraid to sound stupid. Like, if there's any confusion, I want to make sure that you guys are getting a lot out of this, because I promise you, if you start doing this every day and you do this for a year, you're going to know exactly what to do in order to grow your business. Okay. And so I want to get into, how do you make decisions based off of this data? Like, okay, we see the data. How do we make decisions except for, oh, I need to spend more money on ads? How do we make real decisions? So let's go back to this and let's talk about it. Let's say that we're getting a ton of leads, and not a lot of those leads are actually booking appointments. Okay. So we got a lot of leads, but a low booking rate, right? So that's what these metrics that I put in are showing. So we're getting only a 35% booking rate. So what do? We need that means that we need to get better quality leads. So how do we get better quality leads? So us, from an agency standpoint, what would we do? What would we do for you if you come to me and say, hey, Jeremy, we're getting a lot of leads and I'm tracking my metrics, but we're not getting enough of these leads booking appointments. So what do we want to do? We want to put some friction in front of the people who are filling out those forms. Prime example, I've had a few clients saying, hey, Jeremy, a lot of these leads, they're just not even responding to me, or they don't know who we are. Okay, let's do this. On the lead form, let's make them require to verify their phone number before they're even allowed to submit it, right? So when they go put their phone number in, they're going to have to get a code, put it to verify that it's actually their phone number. Now, when we put that friction in front of somebody, naturally, lead cost is going to go up. But that's why I say, don't chase the cheapest cost per lead. You want to chase actual qualified leads. So you're going to turn some people away from that. But the people who are serious and they actually want to try this out, they're going to verify their phone number. That's one way we can do it. What's another way we can do it? We can add more qualifying questions to the form, right? Such as, like, hey, what's your child's age? Do you have any experience? How long have you been thinking about this? The more questions we add to the form, the lower the conversion rate is going to be on that form. But that's not necessarily a bad thing if we get, like Michael, he just posted in here, confirmation of the phone number, that fixed everything. Exactly. So by putting this friction in front of people, you're going to get a more qualified lead. So that's how we make decisions based off of data. Now, let's say it's something different. Let's say we're getting people booked and showing up, but we're still not converting these people into members. So now we know we have our lead flow is good, our booking flow is good, but now we have a sales issue. So now we can have a meaningful discussion on, hey, what does your sales process look like? What does your follow-up process. And so all of that stuff I discussed before, talking about booking appointments from appointments, follow-up, personalized video messages, we can look and say, hey, are we doing all of these things? What are we doing? And why are we having an issue signing people up? What does your intro lesson look like? So now we can drill down and say, hey, these metrics are good. These metrics are bad. This is what we need to do to fix our business, right? And then if the lead to booking rate is good and you're getting a good sign up rate, but you're losing people out the back door too fast, now we know we have a retention or a churn issue. So now we can go in there and say, hey, what do we need to do to fix this? And now you can go through that checklist that we went over before and saying, hey, are we doing all of these things? If not, let's start implementing this and let's measure it over the next 6 to 12 months to see if our churn rate starts to drop. Because if the churn is above 5%, we need to fix that. Okay. And so the only way to know these numbers and the only way to make educated decisions on your business is to track this stuff every single day. And if you're not tracking this stuff, then you're just going off of gut feeling, and you can't run a business off of gut feeling. You have to know these numbers. And I promise you, the good news is I would say 100%, but 99% of your competitors, I promise you, they don't track these numbers. They don't know these numbers. They might be advertising, but they have no idea what to fix or what's broken or what's working in their business. And if you don't know these numbers, then you really don't either, right? You can look and say, "Hey, from a year ago, my business is doing a lot better. I guess I'll keep doing the same thing," but we don't know how to really optimize it and to make our business the best that it can actually be, right? And so you have to know these numbers. So if you guys are a client, you guys have free access to this inside of the school group. And I really would love to see all of you get in there and sign up and do this, because one thing that we can do on our end as an agency for all of our clients, and this is something I'm super excited about, is I have an admin dashboard that will show aggregate data across all of the schools who are tracking their metrics. So now when we get on a call or we do another workshop like this, I can say, hey, on average, this is cost per lead. This is the customer acquisition cost. And if you look in here, the software gives you what your customer acquisition cost is. So you know when somebody asks you, hey, what does it cost to get you cost to acquire a customer? It costs me $88. Okay, how much do you charge when they first sign up? We charge $150. Okay, so for every $88 you spend, you're immediately collecting $150 back. So now you know these exact numbers because you're tracking them daily. And again, these metrics and these numbers become more accurate the longer you do this, because over about a 6-month period of time, you'll start to get a real understanding of what your churn rate is, of what your customer acquisition cost is, of what your cost per lead is. And again, cost per lead, take that with a grain of salt, because our most important thing is our customer acquisition cost and our churn rate and our month one ROAS, right? And all of those play together. Now, here's a cool thing that I built into this too, is I have an AI bot that learns all of your data. And so you can go ask the AI bot, for example, if I want to grow to over $1 million a year in revenue over the next 48 months, what should I do? Should I spend more, fix churn? Let me know. And again, this AI is going to analyze your data, and it's going to get smarter over time based on what you put in there. And now you put this, and it's also trained on all of the material that I teach. I have this, all of the AI trained on what I teach. And so you're going to get an actual answer back from this that's going to analyze your data. It's going to look at the knowledge base that I've uploaded, and it's going to give you an accurate answer on what to do, right? So for example, here, first off, awesome that you've got a solid foundation already. Let's break it down to hit that $1 million mark. You're currently at $20,000 a month, aiming for 83.3 thousand a month to hit $1 million annually. That's a big jump, but here's the game plan. Member growth. You want 400 members in 12 months. That's a great target. With 151 now, you're going to need 249 more to achieve this. You need to boost your lead generation and conversion rates. Marketing strategy. Your lead to booking rate is at 35%, but the targeting is 50%. Tweak your ad copy, target audience, improve this. Maybe if you A/B test different messaging, if you can bump this up, you need to get more appointments for the same ad spend. Boost your bookings. You've got a strong booking to sign up rate, 71.4%, blah, blah, blah. Spend wisely. Your cost per lead is 22, below the $25 target. Customer acquisition cost is 88. That's also below the $150 target. This is great. You might consider increasing your ad spend gradually, say by 10 to 20% each month, see how it impacts revenue. Retention, your churn rate's at 0, which it's not. It just doesn't have 6 months of data, so keep engagement. And so it's just going to give you a complete breakdown on exactly what you need to do, but you need to be tracking these metrics in order for that to actually work and become useful for you guys. Let me jump in. Also, can you add notes on there? Also, can add notes on there. Jeremy reads them, allows them to make adjustments or give advice. Exactly, Michael. Yeah. So in here, thank you for bringing that up. In here in your daily log, right? So if I'll go here and edit this, you can add some notes, right? So for example, that's how Mike and I decided, hey, let's put the SMS, the text verification on the lead form to increase lead quality. We did that. Lead quality went up. Then he made a note because I saw that he had like a 10x ROAS. So he was making like 10 times the amount that he was spending. And then I looked at the notes that he had some paid in full. So that makes sense. So again, that's why we want to have about 6 months of data in here, because you don't want to base one good day where you get like a paid in full or 2 paid in fulls, and all of a sudden that makes you think like, oh, we can start scaling this to the moon. We want to look at everything as a whole, and we want to look at long-term data so that we can make informed decisions, right? So at the end of 30 days, we can look at it and we can say, okay, our ROAS is above 1. We can comfortably spend 20% more. Again, we're not going to double or triple or quadruple the budget, but we can do that comfortably, knowing that we're going to get that money back before the credit card bills even due, and we're going to make a profit on it. But the only way to do that is to actually be able to look at these numbers and make educated decisions on your business based on what it is that you're tracking. So let me know so far, guys, in the chat. First of all, are you guys getting value out of this? I hope you are, because I took a lot of time, and from the bottom of my heart, I truly believe this is the best stuff that I can give you guys. And I know 100% that it will change your business if you guys do this daily. And it will also give us meaningful conversations to where I can give you real feedback, as opposed to like, oh, ads aren't working this week. Let's make some changes. Okay, let's make some changes to the ads. That's Guys, that's such a small piece of the puzzle. It's a very important piece of the puzzle, because again, when we talked about top of the funnel, we need to get those people flowing in. But it's such a small piece of the puzzle. We need to look at everything in your business in order to make proper decisions. And again, this is going to give you guys a leg up on all of your competitors. They don't do this. I promise you. I'm not even talking about just jiu-jitsu school owners only. I'm talking about Jen. Some of this stuff is out of my wheelhouse. We'll need to get with my husband, who is bigger business mind behind our academy. No problem. Hey, Jen, if you guys are clients, you've been with us for a long time. If you want to book some like one-on-one time, jump on Zoom. We can go over this stuff together. I can answer any questions more in detail and help you guys out with anything that you guys need. So again, if you guys are a customer or a client, please like book some time with me. Let's go over it. And like, I really, really want you guys to use this, because it's going to be so valuable for you guys and for your business. Let me go back real quick to the presentation. Here. Is there any questions so far on all of this stuff, guys? Any questions, anything that you guys are curious about, or anything that you guys have going on in your business that you guys have questions about so far? Go back into the chat. Cool. All right. So again, how much additionally would it be to verify the phone number? Jen, it doesn't cost anything more. We just simply, it's just a check box that we put on the lead form in order for them to verify their phone number. And once they do that, then it's just a simple process of doing that. So if you're finding that like, hey, people aren't answering the phone or they're just not booking, then just reach out, let us know, shoot an email to support@mmamarketingpro.com. Just say, hey, if we could add that phone number verification, that would be awesome. Again, when we do that, expect the lead cost to rise a little bit and maybe get a little bit less leads, but they're going to be a lot more quality leads. And again, if you're tracking all of this, it should bring more profit to your bottom line. Now, with that said, if everything is working and you're profitable without doing that, then don't do it. Don't just do it like just because you feel like, oh, it's going to make a difference, because it will potentially push some qualified leads who are just lazy away, who would eventually signed up, right? Cami, in this screen, you were showing something in addition to conversion bees. I need to get more familiar with conversion bees. Perfect. So, couple of things, Cami. We can jump on a call and I can definitely go over conversion bees with you. And also, Cami, you now have access. This is a brand new tool that I built. You have access to this inside of the school community. So reach out to me there and I'll make sure that you guys get set up in this. But conversion bees, like the software, this is still so important because this is your daily CRM. This is your communication tool. This is your sales process. Like when you're looking in here through your pipeline, now you know what you have in the pipeline, who needs to be called, who needs to be followed up with, and also all of this data, right? So if Jim Smith, this person, becomes a new member and we drag them over here, we have automations that go out and removes the lead tag, adds a member tag, all of that stuff. But B, we're sending that data back to Facebook, so it's going to help with your ads. So conversion bees, this should be daily. This and the tracking software. These are the things and again, one thing that I didn't mention, this should be done every morning, right? Because, for example, today is the 11th. I'm not going to have today's data until midnight. Okay. And so we're always going to do the next morning. So realistically, tomorrow on the 12th, I would put in the data for the 11th. How many leads we got that day, how many booked appointments, how many new students, how much cash. Now, one thing that can be confusing that I want to talk about when we talk about entering in booked appointments, it's not how many booked appointments do we have today on the 11th. It's how many people booked an appointment for today. So even if that appointment is for next week, how many people booked an appointment for today? Because what that's going to do is going to tell us each day how good our ads are working in order to get us booked appointments, right? And so you'll have all this data the day before. And when we go into the conversion bee software, we can go into calendars and then we will see who we have, or actually, hold on, let me actually go into a live account because I don't think that it's not going to show anything, any private data. I think it's going to be fine. So this is why you want to be inside of, do we want to go to calendars? We can go to calendars and appointment list view. So you can do it a couple ways. So appointment list view. So we have appointment time, right? But what we want to look at actually, let me refresh this. And so this is where you're going to get, oh, sorry, I'm not sharing that tab. Let me share this tab. We want to look at who booked an appointment, not on what day, but hopefully this is making sense. If we get 4 booked appointments today, but they're all booked for next week, when we go in here, we want to put 4. Even though they're not scheduled for today, they actually booked their appointments today. And that's going to give us more accurate data on what our ads are doing on a daily basis. And so using these in conjunction, conversion bees with this, is going to be super important. This should be no more than 5 minutes a day, right? So this should take no time. And then you organize a conversion bee. So this should be done in the morning. You organize your conversion bee software at night. At the end of class, who signed up, who no-showed, who didn't join. We organize those people at the end of the night. And then the next morning, we wake up and we put the data in here. None of that should take more than 5 minutes each time, right? So you got 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, and all of your data is going to be super organized. Cami, yeah, it wasn't sharing for a minute. I think it started to share, right? like after I switch that tab. Where's the best location in conversion bees to see the leads and the booking dates? Cami, yes. Um, Troy, are you okay? I won't go into like any details, but are you okay with me just opening your dashboard? I'm gonna stop sharing this for now just to make sure that you're okay with that. Cool. Go back. Let me share. Okay, can you guys see this screen? Let me make sure you guys can see it. Okay, cool. So when you log in, Troy, what you're going to see is the requested time. So this is when they're actually booked, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 intro lessons booked today. Okay. But we don't want to put 6 in today's column. What we want to do is they were created on, so this one booked for the 13th, but they created that appointment on the 8th. So the 8th, you should have 1. On the 4th, there should be 2 there. Actually 3, 4. So you had 4 people book on the 4th, even though they booked for later dates, that's when they booked. So the created on date, that's where you're going to get that data, right? So this person, so for the 8th, you should be 1. For the 4th, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4. For the 10th, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And so you'll see that here, right? And then so you actually have more, but you'll just go to the second page and then you'll get those created on dates here. So let me know if that made sense. So the created on date is where you're going to get the data to put that in. And so you'll see that on your dashboard underneath underneath the top metrics there. So that's where you're going to find all of that data. Right. Let me see if I have anything else on there. Mhm. So I think that is it, guys, as far as everything goes. The only thing that I had planned for the end of this is just the Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, anything that you guys want to discuss, even if you want to go into details about like the conversion bee software, the other software that I showed, if you guys have any questions, let me know and I'll make sure that I get those answered for you guys. Absolutely. Yep. I'm gonna send a replay. The software that I'm using to do the workshop, it should automatically send replays to all of you guys. I am also gonna download this video and I'm gonna put it in the school group. And so if you're a client, you guys are all gonna have free access to this. So I will post it in there and you should get an email to go back and watch this again. Where can I find the school group? Cami, I think you're in it because I've actually tagged you. Um, Inside of the school group. Let me make sure. So it's at school. Uh, so if we go in here, I think you're in here. Let me make sure that I'm not just saying that. Maybe not. If you're not, Cami, I'm going to add you to this. I thought you were because I thought I tagged you in this. Let me make sure. Mm, I posted a lot like leading up to this. So yeah, Cami, it looks like you are in here already. It says you're online, so I don't know. But if you download the school app, let me know and I'll send you another link to it. But you should be inside of the school group. How much does it cost to use the software? How do we order it? I'm right about to open my academy. I have zero knowledge and zero marketing experience. Violetta, I am going to drop a link for you in the chat if you're interested. And if you want to set up a call with me, we can go over like all of your details, all of that stuff. So let me drop a link for you. 1 second. Violet, you should see a link. Let me know if you guys can see that. And so what that will do, that will allow you to fill out like a goal setting form, and then it'll redirect you to my calendar, and we can book a Zoom call. We can go over any of your goals, talk to any questions. And if you want to come on board with us, that's awesome. There's absolutely zero pressure to sign up. It's not going to be any hard sales pitch or anything. So don't worry about that. Just fill out the form, book a time with me, and we can talk about everything there. Mhm. Any other questions, guys? I got time, so just drop them in there. If you guys got to bounce, you guys are more than welcome to. Absolutely. Thank you for coming. And I hope you guys got a lot out of it. Again, I promise you, if you guys do these things daily, again, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, you're going to gain so much more clarity into your business, and it's just going to make a big difference for you guys. Cami, you're welcome. And again, Cami, if you can't find the access to the school group, just let me know. I will drop actually um, the link to the school group in here. And Cami, if you are not a member yet, don't sign up because you don't have to pay. It's free for you as a client, but that's where you'll find the actual app. And I'll look up and I'll see like what email you use to register with. Jimmy, this was great. I'll reach out, email for any further direction. Awesome, Jen. Yeah, definitely reach out and book a call with me. Let me know. I'll send you a link to my calendar when you email, and we can jump on. We can go over this in more detail, and I can answer any questions that you guys have. Okay, awesome. Yeah, make sure you guys download the school app because that will help. And I'm actually going to start doing more live workshops directly in school because they just released like a live streaming feature, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to start doing that. And maybe we'll even do, if it'll be helpful for you guys, like every couple of weeks, I was thinking of doing some just like conversion based training so we can go in and just be like an open Q&A. I can answer any questions about the software, talk to you guys about any updates, anything like that. That's something that I have in the back of my mind that I think would be useful for you guys. And again, we can talk about once a lot of the clients start using this software, I want to look at the aggregate data and start doing reporting on that. And then maybe the people that are in like the top 5% who are just crushing it, bring them on with interviews, ask them what they're doing so that they can share that information with you guys and we can all learn and grow as a group. Cool. So I'm going to leave about 1 more minute, see if any other questions come in. If not, guys, I'll end the session. I will get the recording sent out to you. And again, thank you guys for showing up. I really think this is going to be super beneficial for you guys. Just start taking action on it. And again, reach out, ask any questions that you guys have, any confusion, anything that doesn't make sense for you. And again, thank you guys. All the clients that joined today, thank you guys again for your trust and hope you guys got a lot out of it.